you know, just trying to spook people. The city was able to contest FEMA's original maps to say that their maps were off, and FEMA agreed to revisit the flood zones. But they said in about 1.5 to 2 years, they will be final, which means a lot more tens of thousands of people will be required to get flood insurance. And those costs will be very, very high. So what you just talked about were people that could use their resources to elevate their infrastructure. That's if you have resources. And the government is not really, unless you're in Build It Back. Build It Back will do it for you. But if you're not in Build It Back, you're on your own. And that's a problem. So I did ask the question to the city administration, are they willing to maybe give some tax credits or property tax benefits of some sort to working families? So far, I've heard silence. But this is a looming issue. This is coming, and it's going to hurt working families big time. You had a question, sir?
Yeah, to answer Maurice's question about, but people that have homes like I do, your homes are 80 years old, what you're talking about is Appendix G. And Appendix G is for elevation of the homes, and each home on each block would have a different elevation. It's supposed to be for resiliency, but if you have a home that's 80 years old, you're not about to lift it.
Right.
So what they should look at is Appendix G and amend it that people that have homes that are not able to be lifted or new construction, that you could bring it up on a higher level without having to request a special permit, going through the architects and the special permits. And now that when anything comes before our board in 15 on the zoning committee, which I'm a member of, we pass it if the elevation, because now if the floodplain on that particular block is 8 feet or 10 feet, the homes are going to go that high with the flow through on the bottom. But for homes that can't be elevated, you're not about to elevate a house that's 60, 70, 80 years old with all the heating system, electrical systems, all in the lower system. So that has to come under the Appendix G amendment.
So you're correct that there are some properties in New York, many that cannot be elevated. We have in Coney Island and Canarsie, other parts of Brooklyn and the city, row houses that are very thin with everyone. But here's what they're trying to do to be innovative. They're trying to say that they want the homeowner to vacate the first level and then build a third or fourth level on top and turn that into a dwelling and vacate the first level altogether. Some people agree to that, some don't. And the way it works in New York, the way it works to Build It Back, you need your neighbors on both sides of your property to agree to do that.
You need that, but you also look at a construction that is a 60, 70-year-old home. If you're going to bring it up from a 2-story to a 3rd story, you're going to have to bring in steel.
And the last thing,
be able to support
the last thing I'll say on this topic, because I have to get going because I don't want to take up too much time. My committee also exposed wasteful spending on this issue. There were homes in Queens that are valued at about $300,000 or less, that the city was paying Tishman Speyer over $1 million to elevate these homes. I mean, it was outrageous, and they conceded this point. Look, folks, I have to keep it real. I live in Seagate, and there are some homes that are literally by the water, and I have to be honest with some homeowners. If you bought a house literally on the ocean, by the ocean, expect the ocean to talk back to you one day. There are some folks in Staten Island, I think in the Oakwood section of Staten Island. The area's gone. And the borough president said, and I agree with him, Jimmy Otto, he said, look, you should not rebuild when you're right on the water. So the city and the state bought out some of the land, turning into parkland, to build up the area's resiliency. We built a lot of our homes on landfill. We extended a lot of land that never used to be there, and Mother Nature wants it back. So we have to be cognizant of that. So I will stop here, but Aaron, thank you so much for...
One more request, like summer is coming, I hope summer is coming, you know, like, I still hope that like we'll have a good weather, and of course a lot of people will use a boardwalk, and you know, like, people asking me like I can replace all boardwalk, you know, like, but you know what is the condition of boardwalk today? It's like outrageous. I know it's a pain.
No. This is a painful topic for me because this is very. it's frustrating for me that this is even an issue. I think it's so disrespectful to all of us in Southern Brooklyn that this is even an issue. I had a meeting about over a year and a half ago with the Parks Commissioner, who, look, I get it. Those people who live in the bubble, who are in City Hall, they might not understand what that boardwalk means to us. But to us, that's our Central Park. That's our Prospect Park. That's the world to us. That's accessible for all families, whether you are a working family, whether you're rich or poor or in between. That place is for all of us. And the conditions of certain areas of the boardwalk are despicable, embarrassing, and outright dangerous. People have fallen through. And they tried to, in the past, just cheat their way out of this problem. And they made some suggestions about using like these fake materials. And I said, Commissioner Silver, I say this respectfully because he's a decent person, but I got offended at his suggestion. I said, Commissioner Silver, can you imagine me going into Central Park and telling the Conservancy, look, to save the city money, let's just plant fake trees in Central Park. Let's just plant fake grass in Central Park. Prospect Park could use some fake tulips. They would roast me. They would really, I would not ever get any, if I ever run for mayor, they would not vote for me, let's put it that way. So it's disrespectful to tell us to use cheap or fake materials here. Let's begin with just safety. They said that the whole concrete debate. I used to teach government. I showed my students what happened in New Orleans with Hurricane Katrina. Guess what those levees were made out of? Concrete. Thick concrete slabs. And here's another thing I'm not sure if you know. They quote Hurricane Katrina, but when it hit New Orleans, it wasn't a hurricane. It was a tropical storm. So the winds were under 70 miles an hour. It wasn't churning up major waves, but there was a storm surge. And that destroyed these thick slabs of concrete. So I told the commissioner, I said, so you're gonna guarantee the public that concrete is gonna protect us? He says, no, I can't guarantee that. Seagate has a bulkhead, or had a bulkhead. It's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean right now, made out of concrete, gone. There's no silver bullet to this, folks. I want to be very honest with people. People think that we can build these walls and somehow things are great. If you build a 10-foot wall, Mother Nature will give you a 20-foot wave. Mother Nature will always find a way. So if they tell you, oh, this will protect you, I'm sorry. The smart thing, in my opinion, is to elevate critical infrastructure to minimize the impact. But you're never going to fully erase the impact. That, to me, is BS when they try to tell you that. Last questions, I don't want to, folks really have to leave.
I just wanted to mention also by Manhattan Beach,
Yeah.
there used to be a promenade from like Coney Island Avenue going down, and it was destroyed by a hurricane, and you still see remnants of it behind the houses along Manhattan Beach going down towards Kingsborough.
What was it made out of?
Concrete. It was a concrete.
There you go.
When you walked on those rocks there, see the remnants.
There you go.
Okay, thank you
All right,
so
thank
much.
you, Larry. Thank you all so much.